Thank you, Michael. Thank you for good morning, all, and thank you for this opportunity to share with you the vision of the Parliament, the vision of the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly, but also the vision of Socialist MEP and someone with a progressive perspective in these issues. The Sustainable Development Goals are clear in their ambitions to achieve a better world for all, and in particular, in paragraph 8, they advocate sustained promotion, including and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. So you are discussing the height issue today. As political representatives of civil society and or civil society activists, as progressives and democrats, it's our obligation to strive for these goals globally and in particular in the relationship between Africa and Europe. In times of pandemic, of new crisis in the air, not only economic but also social crisis, the issue of promoting decent work and social protection for all must be more than ever at the heart of the European, African, and global political agenda. Decent work for all is a battle to be won not only in Africa, but also in Europe. In the partnership between equals that you are currently designing in the European Union Africa strategy, the point 3 of the communication of the European Commission initiative clearly points to the importance of a partnership for sustainable growth and jobs. And we all know social protection is virtually non-existent in sub-Saharan Africa. Employment is extremely precarious, with around 80% of the working population working in subsistence farming or informal economy. Our colleagues talk about that in his communications. It is in the region of the world, in this region of the world, that we find the lowest rate of schooling of a population that is mostly young and where child labor is a hard reality. In this context, we need to be conscious that the European Union has over the years been working on a strategy to improve working conditions for the Europeans, but also encouraging our bilateral and multilateral partners to adopt minimum standards of protection for life at work. You can say that the Commission 2006 communication, Decent Work for All, is the basis of all this reflection. And on this line, in 2007, in the framework of negotiations for a joint Africa-Europe strategy, a consensus emerged that social protection was not only a right, but also an indispensable instrument in supporting progress towards achieving inclusive growth and the sustainable development goals. So now in 2020, we need to follow in this line. And in the new European Union Africa strategy, in this title 3, Partners for Sustainable Growth and Jobs, speaks of economic opportunities and decent job creation in Africa and in the European Union that could be sustainably enhanced through joint action on 4 priority fronts. First, boosting trade and sustainable investments in Africa. Second, improving the investment climate and business environment. Third, increasing access to quality education, skills, research, innovation, health and social rights. And fourth, advancing regional and continental economic integration. So you have the goals, you have the way, and the How Initiative Development Committee report on the European Union Africa Strategy, Development Committee in the European Parliament, on which I am the shadow rapporteur from the S&D group, will soon be adopted by the European Parliament, which will further reinforce and deliberate on the above mentioned points. So the communication of the Commission, the own initiative report in the Development Committee, all is working together to develop and put really in the field these priorities. Concerning now more specifically the work of the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly, for which I am, as you tell, the co-chair, through its Committee on Social Affairs and the Environment, the Assembly is committed to the promotion of social protection and decent job creation. And the most recent example being the draft report on reducing the number of unemployed youth in ACP and EU countries. This report will be presented and voted very soon. Employment opportunities were also the topic of youth conference within the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly plenary, both in Benin and in Rwanda, and the conclusions inevitably led in both cases to the implement need to create easily accessible microcredit schemes and technical guidance and counseling, not only for youth, but for all the active population, as an excellent booster not only of development, but also of gender empowerment. As you can see, the European Union, the European Parliament, the S&D Group, and specifically the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly are strongly committed in the topic under discussion here today. The pandemic made an integrated response even more urgent. A draft report about the consequences of COVID-19 in ACP and EU countries, prepared by the 3 specialized committees of the GPA, will also be put to vote at the end of October in the committees and at the beginning of December this year in the online plenary that will occur in Samoa, but online. This report that includes 51 concrete policy recommendations. It's, in my opinion, and I invite you to read it, a useful roadmap for the EU-Africa multilateral partnership between equals, and reveals the importance of strengthening the GPA-ACP European Union in the post-Cotonou Agreement as an institutional instrument of broad commitment and involvement in the transformation process. In conclusion, I would like to summarize the points that I consider crucial in addressing this issue in our Europe-Africa relations. First, the multilateral dimension of the partnership European Union-Africa as a reference for a new cycle of sustainable and humanistic globalization. The multilateral dimension is a very important issue. And we need to use this partnership as an example that multilateralism follows important and possible. A multilateral partnership must be a partnership of equals and to pursue common goals. We must work together to improve working conditions and protection for African and European citizens. These objectives complement each other. They are not mutually excluded, as many argue. And finally, it's essential to pay attention to basic needs, but also seed responses that take into account the new challenge of energy and digital transition and economic, social, and environmental sustainability. This is the most consistent way to fix people in Africa with living conditions, strengthening civil society, participation, the fight for human rights, and support for democratic institutions. Thank you very much for your attention.